In this video, we're going to be walking through how to remove a door jamb and door. So basically doors, you've got the actual door itself right here. It's on hinges, but the thing that's against the wall is this thing called the jamb. And so you've got a jamb up here and right there and another one right here. And then on the drywall side, you have this thing right here called a casing that's supposed to basically make it look pretty and hide this ugly gap that you have on every single door frame. So in order to remove these things, the way I go about it is I use one of these guys, a little multi-tool or some kind of pry bar that's a crowbar and a hammer. And so basically I come in, and it shouldn't be too difficult because basically, as you can see, these nails here are just holding into drywall. And so just be careful with it. And as you pry it away, it will come off. And so I'm just going to do that again to the casing there on that side. And then we also have this other casing right here on this side. So I'm going to get all this casing out. So it'll be 6 total pieces. And then as you can see right here, we're going to see these spots where they have screwed stuff into the wall. And so that's going to be where you're going to be taking a saw like this guy, reciprocating saw, and we're going to basically be cutting through every single place we see one of these things. And you can just slide this thing in here and you can see like there's another guy right there. So basically the jamb is held into the actual stud in the wall with these nails. So we're just going to come through and take all these things out. I'll show you guys what that looks like once we get all these casings off, and then we'll continue. To remove the door from the jambs on these hinges is basically come in right here, and every single door may have 2 or 3 hinges. This only has 2, and basically these pins, this one's super loose, you can see it's going to come up on its own, but basically, you know, whatever you have, you can come in here with like a, so if this thing wasn't coming up, you could try sticking like a screwdriver in there, something small and strong, maybe like a nail if you have it, and just hit it with a hammer a few times. But in my case, literally it's easy as just coming out with one hand right here. And then on this guy, let's see if we're as lucky. Just push this right up, take this off, and now if you're going to reuse this door, make sure you save these pins, don't lose them. I'm just going to set them aside right there. And now I'm going to get this stuff out of the way, and then when we take this door off, it's going to start falling. So I'm going to need 2 hands, but you can just open this up, and I'm going to start pulling this away from the jambs. We might do that off camera, but yeah, I'll show you guys how to do that. Oh, there we go. So turns out I'm able to do this with one hand. All right, and while you got the door out, very important measurement to make if you haven't yet bought your new door is the width between the 2 jambs. So if you go to Home Depot or Lowe's or whatever, they're gonna ask you, you know, what size door. And so basically we're looking for a 32-inch door right here because that's the width between these 2 jambs. So just make sure you have this before you get started too deep into it. Now that we got the casing off on both sides of this door, we now have a really good idea of where we're going to need to be cutting with our reciprocating saw. So basically just going to come in, and like every spot you see one of those screws going through the jamb into the stud that's right there, I'm just going to cut it. And so we're going to do that on all 3 sides here. And then once we do that, this whole thing will be pretty flimsy and it'll just come right out, and we should be good to go in terms of getting this door removed. And here's what the final product looks like. You will note that we do have some screws in this stud still that are sticking out. So basically we're gonna have to either nail these down, which is probably easier, or you know, cut them off flush so that when we get our new door jamb, it's gonna have a nice clean surface to grab onto. We're also gonna have to remove, you know, all these other screws that were holding the casing into that drywall and also into that stud. But yeah, that's what it looks like. I'm gonna clean this up and then we'll be able to throw in our new doorway. So thanks all for watching, and hope this is helpful.